Good evening, YouTube. DutyRon back again here with another video. Tonight we're going to speak about the sentence that was brought down today for Amber Guyger in the Botham John murder trial. And today we're going to get right into it in a few minutes, but today was a doozy. I've seen things that I've never experienced in my 20 plus years as a police officer, as a detective in the court system. I've seen things happen here today that I need to go live here and speak to you guys about. So we're going to get into it in a minute. If you are not subscribed to my channel, please do so. Hit the notification bell so you can get all notifications for when I do go live. Again, DutyRon here, New York City retired police detective, here to talk to you about the Amber Guyger sentence. Today we saw a Dallas court judge show great emotion, not only for the victim and their family, but she showed emotion towards the defendant, which is I've never seen in my 20 plus years in multiple different states, multiple different counties. I probably had contact with hundreds of judges over the course of time, hundreds, and I've never seen this type of behavior. Now, I'm not saying it's good or bad. I'm just saying it's a surprise. Judges are supposed to be detached from both sides. They have to be fair and impartial. And in this instance here, I watched it live, and I kind of was surprised by it. You know, some could say it's a welcome change, and it gives some personable touches to a side of, the judicial system that we've never seen before. And I heard seasoned news reporters say that they've never seen it before. But thank you to everyone everyone that is coming in onto this live premiere broadcast. I appreciate all my Patreon and all the positive comments that get left down below in all of my streams. You guys are a very great interactive audience, and I really do appreciate the comments, the thumbs up, and all of the social media posts, emails, direct messages, and whatnot. So thank you for that, and thank you for all of you taking out the time to listen to me and watch my channel, because I know you have a ton of other choices. So I'm honored to have you guys in and listening. Now, I will say this: the 10-year sentence that was handed down was surprising as well. I had said in my previous video, 25 years to life, I feel would be justice for the family. Now, they had a choice to go from 5 years up to 99 years. And they chose to just go from the minimal sentence to a 10-year sentence. And I don't know if they came to that conclusion because of all the impact statements. If you guys were watching today, the defense brought up her mother, her sister, her co-workers from TGI Fridays, some former colleagues from the police department. It was a whole charade of people coming on up and saying, how much of a, giving person she was and all of her good qualities. Of course, the defense is going to do that for their client. There was no objections by the prosecution, because I don't believe legally they could have objected to that. It's part of the process. Now, I don't know if that came into play with the jury handing down just a 10-year sentence, because I'll be honest with you, a 10-year sentence, she will probably serve 5, maybe 6 years of that sentence, providing she has good time. In other words, if she's in jail and acts as a model citizen, which I'm sure she will, but you never know. You never know what can happen to somebody while they're in jail. There's a lot of tests that happen to people, especially someone like her. So there's room for, there's room for her to get herself into trouble because of just having to defend herself against other inmates. But you never know what can happen. But putting that all aside, if she has a model prison career, she'll be eligible for parole after 50% of the sentence or less is served. And the parole board looks at people who have no prior records, no prior arrests, which she doesn't. They also look at the behavior inside when you're in custody. So your remanded time in counts a lot for your eligibility for parole. She took another person's life, and I feel just the way you guys do that this sentence was too light. But you have to take the sentence came from a jury of her peers, and from what I understand, this jury was the most diverse jury that Dallas County has ever seen. So I don't think it was not fair and impartial. I think they were taking everything into consideration. We don't know. We're not in the minds of them. I can't wait to hear at least one of them speak out. I think we will hear that in the coming days, and we will talk about it and see, what they say, if anything. Again, like for me, my heart breaks for the families. We listened to his father, his mother, his brother, his sister, get up on the stand and basically cry, and pour their heart out to us. And I don't think there was a dry eye in that courthouse, including the judge, who at one point, when Botham John's brother requested to go hug Amber Guyger, and she reluctantly said okay after he said please to her. I'm going to show you this video. You'll see him come down, and there's that emotional exchange, which, I mean, I put myself in the victim's shoes, and if someone killed my brother, I'd have a really hard time saying I love you and I forgive you. I'm not saying it was wrong what he said, because these are very, very godly and church going people, and they are, very, very dedicated to their religion. And I mean, I give that young man a lot of credit. I mean, I couldn't have done that. I wouldn't have done that. And I could look you guys right in the eye and say, if someone was to take anybody in my family's life, and a year or so later be in a courtroom and say, I don't want you to even go to jail, and I love you. I mean, those were, I don't cry easy, but I got choked up watching all of these things today, and it was very emotional. But you see in that clip, in the background, you see the judge actually have tissue paper, and she's dabbing her eyes. So I'll show you that in a few minutes. But listen, will there be unrest over this sentence? Absolutely. I think there is already, probably. There's a lot of social media posts of anger and threatening violence. I'm just saying this to anybody that might be listening, from the outside. I'm not putting this towards the people who I know pretty well here, all of you good guys who subscribe to me and we're friends and have a relationship. I'm not saying this to you guys, but don't, if someone's just tuning in, that's listening from the outside, don't jump on that bandwagon. Don't try to fuel the fire. We have to realize that the wheels of justice are in motion, and the family seems to be, somewhat okay with, this process from all the interviews I saw. They will have their civil suit where they're going to sue the city of Dallas, the police department, and probably every entity under the sun that they're able to legally go after. And they will get millions from this wrongful death lawsuit that'll come forward against the Dallas PD. I always want that to be covered up there so you guys could see the DutyRon sign. So the family will go, and this shirt is wrinkled. I know I'll get some comments in the comment section about my wrinkled shirt. It was clean, but just not folded, and I just took it out of the laundry basket. My wife, if she saw me wearing this, she would yell at me, but I don't care. I wanted to do this video quickly, but so just today was an emotional overload on both sides. I can even say this. Looking at Amber Guyger's 66 or 67-year-old frail mother get up on the stand and give her testimony, looking at her friends get up there and cry and sob, and, you know, that's other innocent people being victimized by this crime, by this heinous crime. So she's not only caused grief and anguish to the family of the victim, you know, of Botham John, but also on her side, you know, we also learned today that she was sexually abused by her mother's second husband. And that in itself was disturbing and sad to hear. You know, questions arise: do the jurors take that into account when they're imposing sentence? I think so, but you know, it probably didn't play a huge part in, you know, the lesser time. I think that they just looked at everything and came up with a, you know, the text messaging that she was involved in, the racist text messaging, that's horrible. The messages towards her supervisor, the messages towards Martin Luther King, Dr. Martin Luther King, were despicable. But unfortunately, you can't hang that over someone's head in a murder trial. But it should also be taken into account for her. You know, everybody has dark sides to them, you know, and you know, if we sat here and looked at each other and said racism doesn't exist, we'd all be lying, you know. And it is. It's out there. It's alive and well in America on both ends. It's not just a one-way street here. Let's keep that in mind. It's not just going on from a white perspective to black and a black perspective to white. There's a whole big intermingle of bunch of different people getting together and carrying on like this. We just try to be as good of citizens and good of people, souls, as we possibly can be. Now, so that was disturbing to see. That was, you know, not a great thing to see. But again, it wasn't something that was going to change the course of this process, if you will. So really, today was just unbelievable. I want you guys to see. I'm going to play the clip of the judge. I'm going to slow it up and stop it so you guys can see her. But I'm going to play the whole couple. I think it's a minute and a half of Botham John's brother, and I give him so much credit. I mean, he did this without even speaking to his family. He said, "This is not coming from my family; it's coming from me." And he said he wasn't going to ever speak about it, but he got the courage to speak about it up on the stand. And if you see him, he is tugging away at his collar, almost like he was feeling like he was being choked. A couple of times he was tugging at the collar of his shirt. I don't know if it was just a nervous thing he was doing, but he did it more than once. And he was kind of almost seeming like he was, you know, just looking for air. So let's take a peek at that. I have it queued up, so let's watch this now.
Can I give her a hug, please?
Late today, a powerful moment in court as the brother of Amber Guyger's victim forgave her and asked for an embrace. She sobbed in his arms.
No justice, no peace!
But
Okay,
late today,
of
a
course,
powerful...
DutyRon didn't get the right clip. I'm notorious for this, guys, so just bear with me. I don't think
Can I
this
give
was
her
the
a
right
hug,
one,
please?
'cause you can't
Late
see
today,
the
a
judge on this
powerful
one.
moment in court as the
Oh, you
brother
can.
of...
This was it. Okay. Here I was doubting myself. All right, so this is the moment when they were embracing. You could clearly see the judge here is dabbing her eyes from his testimony alone of what he said, about his brother and his brother wanting her to seek, Jesus. And here it is, as plain as day. I'm just going to roll it from the beginning. It's not much.
Can I give her a hug, please?
Late today, a powerful moment in court as the brother of Amber Guyger's victim...
You see, she went from both sides, and she was visibly emotional. I've never seen a judge cry. I've never seen a judge get emotionally attached as I see as Judge Kemp did. She handled herself most of the trial very professionally, but there was more than a few times that she let her emotions get the better of her. And I don't know. I know that there's no written rules for the judge, but I think there's like unwritten rules that they're not to get attached to either side because they have to be fair and impartial. I'm not really sure how she could have been fair and impartial with all the emotions that she showed, but she seemed to have managed. Again, she had the authority to add the lesser charge in there, the manslaughter, and she did. Now, was that part of her emotion, attachment towards the defendant and the victim's family? Was she torn in between these, the victim and the perpetrator? I
forgave
know,
her and asked for an embrace.
This is
She
ground that I'm not
sobbed
used to seeing. So let me get out of this and run one more clip that I want to show you real quick. I think this is what I just showed you. Yeah. Okay, this is what I want you to see.
If you truly are sorry, I know I can speak for myself.
This is the full thing.
I forgive you. And I know if you go to God and ask him, he will forgive you.
You see how he's tugging at his collar? This poor kid. This took a lot for him to get this out.
And I don't think anyone could say it. Again, I'm speaking for myself, not even bad for my family. But I love you just like anyone else. And I'm not gonna say I hope you rot and die just like my brother did, but I personally want the best for you. And I wasn't gonna ever say this in front of my family or anyone, but I don't even want you to go to jail. I want the best for you. Because I know that's exactly what both of them would want you to do.
That's amazing. I don't know how he got the strength to say that, with a strong voice. Like, just mind-blowing. What a good young man this kid is. It's just, he's better than me. I'll tell you that right now. He's a better man than I am, because I would not have said that.
And the best would be give your life to Christ. That boy.
and she has a younger brother, another brother. Alana's the oldest, and then I have a son. His name's David. He's a David.
Go ahead.
And Amber was the youngest.
So you have just 3 children, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Well, this is 11 minutes long. I'm not going to play this whole thing, but it just gives you a view of how many people this girl's actions have affected, and we got to keep that in mind. First and foremost, Botham John's family comes into our minds and our hearts, and our hearts break for them. But my heart breaks for this woman and the rest of her family, who now forever, wherever they go, people will point at them and say, that's the mother, of that cop, that killed the guy. So, nobody's a winner here. This is far from ideal for anybody. We're gonna have many interviews with, the victim side, probably nothing from the perpetrator side, but a lot of things are going to come forward. And I hope that the Dallas Police Department learns from this and enacts some more training for their officers, and not just Dallas, statewide throughout the United States. And I know the NYPD is going to look at this, and we have some of the best training in the world at the NYPD Training Academy. We do get, our firearms training. We do get force refreshers. We do get tested in tactics when we're out at the range. I remember several times during the course of my career where I went through a simulator. It was like they were mock guns. I forgot what we called it. It won't come to my head right now, but it essentially was, you put headphones on and a video screen came up. Fuck, I can't think of it. Headphones and a video, and it would walk us through, like, say, a bank that's being robbed, and you would have to make a choice of when or if you would use deadly physical force. And those were great training exercises, because if you did shoot, there was a timeout, or not a do-over, but we could go over it and pick it apart play by play with the instructor. And I thought that was great training. Another one was like you were in a supermarket and somebody was holding someone at gunpoint, like a hostage. A guy was holding a woman with a gun, and you had to make a choice of what you would do, what you would utilize in that case, how you would handle a situation. It was really good. So that's in place in the New York City Police Department. And we had our tactics and funhouse where you would go through a village. It was like a mock village, and they would radio a call for a crime, and you would have to handle this situation in a controlled kind of environment with actors and everything. And none of the guns obviously had any bullets in it, and just had blanks in them where it made a loud bang. And those things were great. And I think that there's room for improvement for all law enforcement going forward from this incident. And we could all learn from it and better ourselves, so the public can be safe and the police can be safer. And, there's always room to improve. So, I want to say that is very important. So again, thank you to everyone who's given Super Chat during this broadcast. I want to say a special thank you to everyone who leaves kind comments and leaves good messages down below in the comments section. I also encourage people to leave messages however you feel. without being rude or attacking any persons, myself or anybody else. You're more than welcome to voice your opinion down below or in the chat, as long as you're not using profanity or being vulgar. I welcome it, because everyone has different outlooks on everything. So again, as a retired New York City police detective that has seen a lot of things, there's a lot of first times for me in this trial. I don't feel that she got, the right amount of time. Although when you take someone's life, how do you set what's the right amount of time? That's the question I say to myself. Part of my faith says that, thou shalt not kill, right? In the Catholic religion. So I think, there's just so much. We could sit here and rack our brains and come up with all different scenarios. And you know what? I have a lot of friends that feel otherwise than me, and I respect their opinions and thoughts and visions on this case. Again, nobody's a winner here, but I feel that we can make our law enforcement, the new generations of new cops that are coming out of the academy, to have extra training, and the old, the senior officers, there's room for retraining and whatnot. No two situations are the same, but here we are. We're going to see what happens going forward. But this judge really surprised me and many others today, and it was a very emotional day. So guys, this will probably be my last video on the Amber Guyger case, because the case is closed now. She is sentenced. Unless something earth-shattering comes up. I was going to show those racially charged text messages, but my better judgment stopped me from doing it, because all it does is breed a little bit of, it'll put fuel into the fire. And I'm not a shit stirrer. I don't want to pot stir it up. It's bad enough that it was out there and that we see it. I don't need to rehash that with you guys, and I do it out of respect for myself and respect for you guys. When I go around and see other people in different chats and different broadcasts saying hurtful things, I don't like it. I don't call anybody out on it, but I make a mental note of it. And I'm not that kind of person, and I don't do that. I won't ever do that to anybody, even a stranger that's been charged with a crime. I'm not going to, say hurtful things or wish death or harm or anything upon another human being, because that's not what I'm about. So when I see these things coming from people who I like, it's disheartening for me. I don't like it, and I wish that people would think before they make messages in a chat. It's the same thing as sending a text message, but this is out in the open for everybody to see and then re-see and rewatch on replays. It just stays there forever. So I ask and I plead with you guys to think about when you're typing out things, even if you're in a rage about something or if you feel strongly about it, some things are better left unsaid. And that's all I'm going to leave you with, guys. There's so much hate in this world. We got to try to come together and spread messages of peace and positivity. I think that is far better than spewing hate and rhetoric that doesn't lead to positive results. If you want to be a negative person and try to stir the pot up, then that's on you. But I can tell you this, I separate myself from people like that for a very good reason. And I learned through trial and error that when you allow those kind of people to be around in your life, it just brushes off onto you. So I implore you, if you see anybody who is sending negative comments and being very hurtful and wishing death upon other people or wishing ill will, steer clear of those kind of people, because you'll be a better human being for it. I know I am. And that's all I'm going to say. And I'm going to leave you guys with a lot of love and respect from my house to yours. Support your local police officers, your police departments, your military and law enforcement. Do not let a few rotten apples spoil it for the good people, the good men and women that are out there putting their lives on the line day in and day out to protect our freedoms. So please, guys, be good to each other, be good to yourselves, and I'll talk to you on the next one. Love and respect from DutyRon to you, and I thank you for taking the time and listening and hanging out with me in my video. God bless and good night.